asset management. We're gonna move that up after item 9, road inquiry. So we'll go from road inquiry and then go to enterprise asset management and then proceed with the rest of the agenda after that. Any other changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay, and then we do have one executive session following the meeting. Prior minutes, any changes or modifications requested?
I have none.
I have none.
Consent agenda,
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through G.
I'll second that.
okay, we got a motion and a second on the consent agenda. Any comments, changes, or
Nope.
queries? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, passes 3-0. Issues from persons not on the order agenda. I know we have some other citizens here for other topics on the items, but this would be items not on the agenda and that you'd like to address the commission at this time on. Jennifer Taylor, HR, introduction of new and promoted employees.
We actually don't have introduction of any new or promoted employees today.
Makes that easy. Gemini Juniors 4-H Club annual tree decorating.
Hello, my name is Eva Betts. We're here as members of the Gemini Juniors 4-H Club to request permission to decorate the large trees north of the library for the holiday season. This has become a meaningful tradition for us, and we're proud of how it brings color and spirit to the community.
Hi, I'm Ashlyn Erickson. This is a project that gives local youth a chance to spread joy during the holidays and take part in something that brightens our town. It's a simple act with a big impact, and we look forward to it every year.
I'm Jaden Connor. We'd like to invite other youth and families in the community to join us by contributing homemade decorations. These can be dropped off at the 4-H Extension office on Main Street. We just ask that they are sturdy enough to withstand the Kansas winter wind and weather.
I'm Josiah Connor. We want to give a special thank you to Boy Scout Troop 101 and their leader, adult ladies, who will help hang the decorations. Ornament collection ends on December 8th, and Troop 101 will be placing them on the trees on Sunday, December 9th.
I'm Evan Betts. We thank the Ellis County Commission for your continued support and respectfully ask for permission to once again decorate the trees near the library this holiday season. We're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Very good.
I have no
Questions from the
questions. I
commission?
applaud you guys all for coming up and standing up here and asking. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you,
coming
guys.
forward. I don't see any issues with the program that you've done for years, so appreciate you coming to the commission and representing your club to us and asking for permission. Very good.
Thank you, guys and girls.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see if the president of the Fort Hays can follow that up with a Fort Hays State update.
Thank you very much for welcoming me and giving me an opportunity to provide a quick update. I'm going to really focus on our fall enrollment, some building updates, and of course, end with a shout out to cross country and men's soccer. So you do have some slides in front of you. We start off this semester strong with great news from our partners with our fall enrollment. We have this fall collectively over 14,600 students enrolled, and over 9,000 of them are Kansans. Fort Hays Tech North Central was up 6.9%, and Fort Hays Tech Northwest was up 3.5%. You've got more data on your slides. So for expedience, I'm just going to fly through here. On the next slide, you'll see that Fort Hays State University had just under 13,000 enrolled. On campus, we were up 2%. We were flat online. Also, I wanted to mention on campus, we have almost 50 students from the tech colleges proceeding on to their bachelor's degree, which I think is great. And we're down a little bit in international students due to visa issues as well as quotas. Nationally, colleges were down 38% and Fort Hays was down 8%. So we felt pretty good about that. You also see that our CAMS-AMS program, our early college program, is up 6% this year. So a lot of good news on enrollments. Some fun facts that at the university, we have over 7,500 Kansans. Our campus residence halls are operating at 100% occupancy, which is the best occupancy in 15 years at Fort Hays State. Over 1,000 first-time new undergraduates with 4 years of sustained annual growth, and 107 first-time online undergraduates, which is our highest ever. This year, we had a 77% fall to sophomore full-time retention rate, which is the second highest in the history of the college. Some enrollment growth in critical areas, you'll see that we're up 23% in social work. We added a new faculty to move people off the wait list, up 22% in allied health, which continues to grow, and 9% in applied technology and nursing. Nursing program has well over more than 600 nursing students on campus and online. Our graduate enrollment is a little bit challenged nationally and at Fort Hays. The STEM areas are growing and the humanities are dropping. We have now are in the process of adding a new BA in religious and education and community engagement. We know a lot of our students would like to do youth ministry, and this will combine leadership studies and some of our religious studies together. So we're excited about announcing that. And we'll be moving forward with a Bachelor's of Science in Financial Forensic and Fraud Investigation. Some updates to our building, as you will see as you move through here. We invested some dollars in our Regal building, which is on the farm. Prior to this, there were dirt floors and no bathrooms. Not really fun classroom experience. Not quite 1902 conditions, but the students are happy we modernized the space. We also, in partnership with the Farm Bureau program, we're able to update our ag business classroom. So important in this renovation was the technology that enables our students to track real-time commodity prices. And again, very thankful for the partnership with Farm Bureau. A very much needed update was our cadaver lab. You can see the old pictures there now. And it's updated with new technology for teaching and learning and new meaning to hands-on learning. This spring will be the first time using that facility. If you want to see it, it's really fabulous. And when the students are very excited about the updated cadaver lab. When we opened enrollment for spring classes, that class was filled up in 3 minutes with students who want to work in the cadaver lab. You may also know that we're working in partnership with Wichita State on exploring a dental school that would serve Western Kansas. So that's in the very early stages, but I wanted to bring that to your attention. On the next page, you'll see that we are getting ready to complete our Bickel-Schmidt Athletic Complex at the end of the football field. That should be completed the end of the year. Important to that was ARPA funding. And so a couple of things that are important. We also partner with Hays Med. So we have like a phenomenal underwater treadmill for healing and rehab. And through Hays Med referrals, people in the community will be able to use that. And some of our meeting spaces and reception spaces will also be available once we've got the structure set up for community engagement as well. The library is phenomenal. I just went on another tour. We won't be fully opening, but we're ready to welcome students back into the library in January when they return for classes. We think we'll have the ribbon cutting probably April. So I hope you'll come out and see it and tour. It's really phenomenal. Very excited about our Stroop Hall addition. If you haven't driven by campus, you can see quite a large facility going in the front of Stroop Hall. This will serve, it's going to be a 2-story addition. It should be done around December of 2026. The first floor will serve our expanded nursing program. The second floor will serve allied health, which will move for the first time out of Cunningham Hall into Stroop Hall, which will create a lot of synergy for our students with nursing and allied health together. And finally, I just wanted to do a shout out. I had the privilege of traveling to Milwaukee a couple weeks ago to see Emily McCullough compete in the National NCAA Cross Country Championship. She is a two-time All-American from Hoxie, Kansas. There were 263 runners. She took 12th place. Very proud of her. And she set a new program record for Fort Hays State, one better than Corey Keene's 13th place in 2013. And now we're very excited focusing on men's soccer. They are undefeated in the regular season. They have won the 2025 conference champion. They're now in the Elite Eight. The Super Regional 3 Championship will be this Saturday in Hays, and we're really thrilled, especially from economic development, that we've been able to host the regionals here in Hays, Kansas. And the Final Four on commencement weekend will be in Colorado Springs, and I fully expect our students to be there. So with that, thank you for your support. Merry Christmas, and I'm happy if you have any questions to stay in for questions.
The Regal building, I've been in there. If someone were to want to tour that, can they just walk in there? Or is that pretty locked up to, the community? Do you have to get with somebody on the farm?
It's always best just to have somebody with
Okay.
you to take you through, but just let us know and we'll be happy to set something up.
It was very impressive when I was there, how they showed, how the animal and different, it was cool. Fits our, community farm oriented, so.
Thanks. I know the students are very happy not to have dirt floors and to have restrooms available.
And Sophie is a go-getter. She does a good job
Sophie
with
has
it.
left us.
She
We're
has?
very, very sad about that. But
Okay.
Sophie
'Cause
and her
I-
husband both worked at the university. They left this spring.
Mm,
There was
well.
a family issue with a parent
Okay.
that was ill, and so they've gone back. And so we are searching for a new ag chair. I think that's an active search. So if you happen to know somebody who would like to chair our ag department, would
So she
Love her.
must have left after these were.
yes,
Okay, because she's
yes.
quite the
It was a
lady.
very hard loss.
Yes.
But we're confident we can recruit somebody that will do very good and take us to the next level.
Okay.
Build on what she built.
I think it's great. It shows that we're still moving forward here in our out west. So I think it's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the update. You always learn something. I had no idea we had a cadaver lab. How long have we had that there at Fort Hayes? That's,
We can give you a tour if you'd like
I
to see it.
do
The
not need a tour of
technology
that.
that's coming in the sciences is incredible.
Yeah. In men's soccer, I was at the game Saturday, freezing through it. It'll probably freeze through it. I hate that we're playing Rogers State for a fourth time, but I expect us to get through. And if we can get to Colorado Springs, I hope to follow myself and take my kids out and watch. I'd like to bring home a national championship. That'd be great.
Me too.
Thank you for the update.
Welcome.
Ellis County Library Board update, Kylie Honus. And Jennifer Teague's here as well.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
Morning.
for letting us come to speak with you all. We're with the Ellis County Library Board. I'm Jennifer Teague, and this is our president, Kylie Holmes. I saw what was put into the agenda, and I'm touch on that a little bit and kind of do a little bit of a history since it's been a year since we've been in place. We've been meeting regularly since November of last year. We meet on the first Wednesday of every month currently. We've had almost 100% participation throughout the whole time and certainly through online.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Please get closer to the mic
Oh,
because
sorry.
we have had some people saying they cannot hear.
Thank you.
So, but
Thank you.
anyhow,
I don't
thank
do
you.
this very often, so I was trying
No,
not to
I
scream.
understand. Understand.
Thank you.
Yes.
So to touch on the items that are up here in the summary, in March of 2025, we came before the commission and asked for a sum of money. 10,000 was what was decided on at that time. We have spent so far just a little over $1,500 that's actually been paid. I have some outstanding invoices that need to be paid that total just under 1,000. And I'll work with Mr. Powell, who is our lawyer, to see what the total will be for the remainder of the year. I suspect our current invoices go through November 13th, so I suspect we'll have another 45 days, and I'll find out from him what those totals are and get those to you as soon as I can. I've been working with Mr. Myers to get them paid, and he's been very helpful, so thank you. I wanted to update you also then on our budget process. We went through the budget process for the first time, which was exciting. We ended with, and I'm not sure if you had seen these, so I did bring these numbers for your information. We started with a 0.381 mill levy and ended with 0.385. Our final assessed valuation was a little bit lower than what we thought it was going to be when we first started the budget process. And so our proposed income, which I know will fluctuate potentially, is just slightly under 78,000, which is where we started during our budget process. That was the number we wanted to hit. So an update on kind of where we are. Mr. Powell has been working with various entities in the community to determine what our next steps are and making sure we meet those requirements and those guidelines. He's also been working with currently the Hayes Public Library on a contract for services that we'll be considering. Our meeting is tomorrow evening. And you all are welcome to come. And I meant to thank Mr. Burgess ahead of time and didn't. So now thank you very much for coming and being our support for the year from this group. The tasks that we have for the upcoming year, we need to set our meeting schedule, which we'll also be talking about tomorrow night. And then continuing to work with Mr. Powell on requirements and guidelines and things. And then working with any interested parties who received funding in the past or who might want to talk to us about something for the future. So we've reached out to the community over the year, and all are welcome to attend the meetings and talk to us about what their needs might be. So we try to remain open to that. So I think that's kind of it for our update. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
I guess kind of remind me what we've spent in the past on sending to the Northwest Kansas Library Association and kind of bring it all full circle. Would you mind doing that, Darren?
I'll try to give you generalities on the estimates of what that is, and maybe Commissioner Burgess can remind me, but it's the mill levy amount is about just under 2 mills total for the unincorporated areas of Ellis County, which generates about $300,000 in property taxes. That $300,000 is 100% sent to the Central Kansas Library System, which is based out of Barton County. And we only receive back about a third of that between the city of Hayes and Ellis Libraries. So of the $300,000 of local property tax, we only get $100,000 of that back. The other $200,000 goes to other libraries throughout the Central Kansas Library System. Then the process essentially is the library board is established, go through a 2-year process, have to determine if there's manifest harm, 2 taxing years, and then you can withdraw from or petition to withdraw from the system. And then essentially that estimated 2 mills that is generated for the Central Kansas Library System, if that whole process is approved, would go away. And then the Ellis County Library Board would be able to, by statutory, those 2 years have to levy 0.25 mills for a public library system. After that 2 years, they can then adjust their budget up as the other one goes away, and then instead of $300,000, if they were to so choose and keep that roughly the same, that $300,000 instead of $100,000 can be spent on libraries here in Ellis County at what their board would decide would work. So that could be increased funding for Hayes and Ellis public libraries, but also the local school district and the college libraries, if they were to so choose to be able to provide funding or different kinds of sources, services for those libraries.
Okay.
And to add to that, part of the reason we stayed at the 78 number was that it would meet kind of what they were planning to provide to Ellis County, because the residents who voted on it and who are paying the taxes still have the Central Kansas Library tax to pay plus this new one. So we tried to kind of keep it as low and as close as we could, but still above the 0.25.
Okay. Thank you.
And just as a quick update, which I just received yesterday, so I'm sure they both don't know either, there is a House representative from Saline County who pre-filed a bill for the legislation for next year to eliminate the manifest harm, the 2-year requirement, the return of property to CKLS and all that. So all those issues, if passed through the House, and Representative Wassinger is also aware of it. So we'll have some work here in the next couple months, but that bill is pre-filed, so it may speed up that 2-year process, whereas instead of waiting another year and a half to start, we might be able to start in about April or May of next year,
Very good.
if the library board would so choose to do so.
Good deal. Okay.
Anything-
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Nope. Thank you for the update.
No, thank you
Thank
again
you.
for supporting us for the last year. We truly appreciate it.
And again, there'll be a meeting tomorrow evening, starting at 5:30 at the Hayes Library conference room there.
And again, thank you to all the members of the library board for volunteering to serve on that and start something from nothing. So thank you again.
Road inquiry at Wheeland Avenue and 27th Street. Ron and Lane Adams requested to be on the agenda to discuss road maintenance. Start with you.
I'll just give you the lowdown first, and then Ron's a registered land surveyor, so he can give you what he's assessed at the courthouse. And then Cheryl Morgan also, a lot of the property is her individual property, so I'd like her to have, if you have any questions, come up too. For years, it's considered Wheatland Road from the Votech to 27th Street. And anytime there was a problem, we'd call the county, no problem. They'd come run the grade or whatever, dig out the culverts that got full. And a few months ago, a semi turned that corner and got stuck and just totally tore up the road. So that's what started this, because I called the county like I normally would. And he was like, oh, no, we gave that road to the city because of all the new development. So I called the city and they was like, oh, no, that's not ours. You need to call the state. It's state right of way. So the state guy came out and then he laughed at me because he said, the state does not maintain rock roads. And so everybody's washed their hands of this road, but it's the Votech kids go in and out there all the time. There's 2 businesses on that road, plus the individual home. Not so much of it. Did you have a picture of that road? Not so much of it affects me because I'm in the opposite direction.
This is where the guy was stuck at.
Yeah. So anyway, so I can't tell from, but anyway, I just come from this and this, just the corner affects me. But all the rest of that road goes around and affects everybody else. And so after that last problem where they said they wouldn't come out, I go out in my little tiny blue tractor with a back blade and waited for it to dry and then back bladed it all in. But the problem is it was dug up so bad. When it was filled in, it was just mud. And so then when we had these rains, now we got it tore up again. And so that's the download of it. So I'll let them answer questions you might have.
Well, John Ziegler was wanting to be here too. He has a container business out there.
Please go over to the mic so everybody can hear you.
Oh. John Ziegler was wanting to be here too. Am I close enough?
Yeah.
Anyway, they have a lot of trucks coming in and out, hauling containers in and out of this location here. But this is an 80-foot right-of-way along where my fence line goes, this little, you see that little white rope there, but there's an 80-foot right-of-way off the section line. And it was developed when Interstate went through because it's KDOT right-of-way because of the bridge going over Interstate. And anyway, there's a lot of usage of this road, and the kids also use this to go to VOTEC school. And it's been used for that ever since I've been there. But we'd like that to be maintained yet by the county as it has been in the past. But there's also another development going on the past this area here. There's going to be another 100 homes built to the east of the Morgan's property. And I guess they've vacated part of that plat already, but there's still a development going to be on east of this. So it'd be a good access to go to that development area too. The VOTEC has a 40-foot right-of-way road that they've never put a road in on the north side of the VOTEC school, but it's right on the south side of the Morgan's property. It's basically, it's just grass is all it is. It's never been really developed as a road, but it's a right-of-way area that was in the VOTEC addition. He's pulling that up now. We're zeroing in on it. Yeah, you can see Morgan's have 2 tracks.
I'm just gonna point.
Are you? You're gonna point it out?
Yeah. Okay. This is where I am. This is our home. We've been here 40 years. We sold this corner to Wayne Fleener quite some time ago. At the time when he wanted to sell it back, Siggy got to it before we did and got it back. This was rezoned light industrial. The rest of us, I believe, are all still agricultural. I don't know about the Viero Tower that was put in here. And Mr. Ham has that property there. I understand he leases some of this to Ziggy to park his containers. This road here is private. That's our lane. We maintain that. Our property line is down here. Where it says 25th Street there's nothing, it's grass. I don't know why it looks like there's a road there because there isn't. Wheatland dead ends here where where they kind of quit developing at this point. Okay, this is the road in question that is no longer being maintained, and Elaine was told by the county has been abandoned. We've been here 40 years. The county has always maintained it, and it was just us. We have maintained this area. My husband mows all of it. The county's never mowed, but they have maintained the road. Since we've moved in, Ziggy has put this in, Mr. Ham has put his building in, their tower has put their building in. The hospital has a building over here that they run trucks in and out. And then the VOTEC school had 2 buildings when we moved out there. There are now, 5 buildings, and they have the 2 houses that they're building every year. So there's a lot more traffic going in and out to the VOTEC school. The VOTEC school now has access to the south off 22nd Street. But the kids, the students, primarily use this and go up to 27. So when it gets muddy, it becomes a real hazard. The other day when I went to leave for work, the semi was jackknifed here, and there was a VOTEC kid who was sideways here in the road because of the mud. And so, I mean, maintaining this road, there's a lot of traffic, and there's a lot more traffic now than there was, say, 20, 30 years ago. It's very difficult for people to go in and out. I live there. Getting to work every morning is interesting. Okay? I just want to know why Elaine was told that the county is no longer maintaining this. I understand that this over here has been vacated. The city's not going to develop it now. But this is still the same usage that it has been with increased usage because of the development by the VOTEC.
also, it's, even though it's only one time a year, that's also the road they use to take, when they sell the homes, they go down this road and go out to 27th Street. So the VOTEC also uses it for that.
Eric Burke did say that they were hoping, since they were building the houses down there by their new building, that they would be able to move the houses out, going down to 22nd Street and going out to Commerce that way. But, so hopefully they aren't going to be moving the houses out this way anymore, because that is very difficult for them.
There's part of that development is still gonna happen on the north. This has been vacated up to the north of their property, but the other development's still gonna go on, further south here for that new, addition that's coming to Hayes. It should start in probably by springtime as far as getting the development or putting in water line, sewer line and streets.
And
So-
the property to the west of those trailers and the west of the Ham, is that your property then?
Yes.
Okay.
This is us over here. So like I said, the only thing that affects me is this little corner here. But, like I said, when I went to the county or called him, he had told me it's because of the development that they're turning it over to the city. That didn't make sense. Well, then when I went all my long route and went back to him, his answer was to me, well, maybe you guys need to get together and maintain it. Well, since when am I, as a taxpayer, required to maintain a public road? And it doesn't make sense. So.
The other thing I noticed where the container business is at, John Ziegler's, he bought it from Daryl Augustine, and I found a survey for Augustine. And I think all your property's 200-foot wide strips, isn't it? You have 2 strips that are 200-foot wide. Well, this is I've got a survey here that shows it roughly 170 foot for the container business. So they left 30 foot on the west side of, well, it'd be the east side of the road, that VOTEC road up there. And they showed that on that too.
Before we purchased the land on the west side from Grants, the VOTEC school had asked them for easement, and they allowed easement. I don't know if you can hear me. They allowed easement in the road, but according to what Midwest Energy told me when they were talking to me about running lines through there, that easement is still in our name. It has never been transferred anywhere. So basically, we own like a third of the road, and Mr. Ham owns the rest. It's been given as easement to the VOTEC school and used all that time, is my understanding. I'm not clear on that. Maybe Ron can clarify that.
Well, this survey kind of clarifies that, where they're showing 168 point some feet instead of 200 foot wide. They left a strip on that one side. This is Harvey Reuter's survey up here now. And on, when he did a survey, the property pin, this one up here in the corner, is the northeast corner of that property, which is in the center line of the road going to the south. And here's the bottom pin, property pin down there. But he has a notation here about, I can't read that up on. And the notation says the gravel road shown between 25th and 27th Street is being used by the public and it's being maintained by Ellis County. No road easement or agreement has been recorded for this road. So there's nothing in the books to say that road's to be used for public. They have the agreement, I guess, between the VOTEC school and them that it would be maintained.
Except for what Grant told.
That's what Grant said.
Grant said, okay.
The Grants are the people that we bought that property from, and they had made the agreement with the VOTEC school. We just let it stand.
And also the guy that used to run the county said, when our graders touch the road, we maintain it, we have it, it's ours.
That was Mike Graff said
Mike
that.
Graff said that.
I'd asked him about maintaining that road. He said, well, if our graders are on it and we hit that with the blades, it's our road then from then on. So I don't.
That's what we assumed all these years till a few weeks ago.
I still have Reuter did that survey. good surveyor. He apparently checked records, but I checked records yesterday on it and couldn't find anything on an easement or a roadway. But this one here, this one survey that I've got for the John Ziegler's property, which was Daryl Augustine's property. He had a survey done by Doug Carlson, and it shows it being like 30 foot short of being that 200 foot.
So I guess our question is, who's going to maintain the road, or what's gonna happen with it? I mean, for 40 years, we've been out there, and the county comes in a couple times a year and brings the road, and everything's fine. I don't know what's changed now, or what you expect.
It's just really short of rock right now, but it's like, the other thing I remember, there could be grant money available for the college if they apply for grant money. That's what Daryl Seibel had done on Sternberg Drive. He donated the right of way to the Fort Hays State University. They applied for grant money, got the grant money, and they paved that road going to the Sternberg Museum. I don't know if something like that could happen here. The Fort Hays being able to apply for that grant and get that paved in there and set that road in place.
Okay.
Well, and the culvert coming off 27th Street is, the county come in and I asked them to dig it out because it's full of dirt and stuff in there. And they come and dug out each end, but it's still plugged. So the water drains, it fills up enough that it drains across the road and then comes over on my property and drains across my property now. I still would like to have that culvert cleaned out too. That's another thing.
And that's the culvert that runs east and west along
27th Street. When you first turn off 27th onto that road.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
all right.
When you decide this stuff down the road, or what you plan on doing with that, or will you contact us, what you decide, or?
Well, we're gonna discuss a bunch today, take a bunch of information in. We've known we've had a problem here, and we'll have to we'll have to get all the information. So we'll have Brendan come up and talk about it a little bit in front of us, and then we'll have a discussion on it, I believe.
Okay, when does he come and talk to you about it?
Right.
Bring him up here, 'cause we'll get some clarity.
I don't want to miss out on anything.
We gotta, yes, we got a little bit of a knot here to start untangling and just, I'll start with this. One of the directions that our commission has taken in the last couple of years is having our public works go through records and look for things that we've been maintaining that are private, that are not part of the public road system. So if it comes across, and it seems like this has come across our records, that this was actually never designated as a public road, and what the county has done in the past and what agreements were put into place, handshake or otherwise, we have taken a hard look at some of these. So this is very similar to something that we discussed just a few months ago along in the northeast part of the county around Horse Teeth Canyon. I think that's right. Wiles Road. Which again, private businesses there had been using that road, and then we had maintained it in some capacity in the past, and it's not a public road, and our commission has taken the stance that we're no longer going to maintain private roads. So this falls in line with that at this point, where this ultimately has been a private road, and if the county, I have some questions, we'll get to those on the easement. Seems like that was between private parties, not with the government entity taking place here. Yes, there's a lot of traffic there. I've been through there and know that area, so I understand the public perception of a public road. That certainly can come into play on this. But that's to start unraveling the knot a little bit, what decisions have been made, or really the decision wasn't really made other than we need to take a hard look at what we are actually maintaining. And if there's private roads or entrances and these kind of things that the county's been maintaining for whatever reason in the past, we need to back that off and get back to what our taxpayers expect of us, and to maintain what we're supposed to, that are public roads. One of the first questions I have, though, on the map, cause I got it pulled up on GS on mine, and you pulled it up on Google. It does have it labeled as NCK Road, and I wanna know where that actually ends and begins. If that is actually a public road
No, so
on,
that's Brenda McKay, Ellis County Public Works
So,
Director.
but
That's just a Google, yes.
south.
So that is part of their replat. The
Uh-huh.
VOTEC is a private, it's their road segment.
So
in
the
there.
NCK road there, that's within city limits now, is not a
NCK.
city road either.
It's not a county road. I don't know. if it's
Right,
a
I know
state
it's not a
road.
county road because it's within city limits.
Yes.
That's where I'm wanting to know if that's at that point, would that be a dead end?
That's how the plat was written for the VOTEC.
Okay.
Was that it dead ended at 25th Street, which is built as that grassed area they were alluding to.
Okay.
Still show, did the replat show a 40-foot right of way?
For the VOTEC?
VOTEC's
Yes, sir, for 25th Street.
25th Street?
Yep, the non-existent 25th Street.
Yeah, there's just no.
Yeah, that's,
Correct. This is an older parcel map, so it still shows
mhm.
the Wheatland Avenue right away there, which is effectively the Morgan's driveway. That was vacated in 2025 with the replat at Tallgrass number 4, which vacated the right of way north of 25th Street wasn't constructed, and a frontage road along Interstate. So that
Do
area
you want me
that's,
to pull that up? for you?
no, you have it right there. It's shown in your parcels. That has been vacated where your mouse just was, and to the north and east, that whole portion has been, if you go keep going. east,
Between the
follow
yellow
that.
and the red.
Yes, that has been vacated with the fourth, Tallgrass number 4, replat. And then in 2018, the city of Hayes acquired a private easement for water line and utilities. Where this road or not road is located at, 30-foot wide right of way there for their utility easement. To be a public road in the state of Kansas, is minimum 40-foot right of way if it was statutorily done. If it wasn't done statutorily, it's a 60-foot minimum right of way. I don't know how we will be able to get that for this path.
So the road in question right now has a city of Hayes water line running
Adjacent to it.
adjacent to it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I sold easement to the city of Hayes to run water line up along the west side of our property, basically in the ditch, up to Ziggy's, and then it goes on from there.
Does it ever cross that road at any point to the west?
Pardon me?
Does it cross that road at any point to the west?
I
The water
believe
line?
so, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I sold it as far as Ziggy's property. I don't know what Ziggy did. with that.
It
It
goes,
was John Ziegler.
it goes along, the 27th Street Road. It's in the ditch along 27th Street, goes along to the west,
Okay.
So there's a,
but it's along that 80-foot right of way that's along 27th Street off that section line.
Okay.
correct, that's state right away for their overpass construction and maintenance.
Gotcha.
It's a 3-inch line.
So if there was public right of way existing through there, the city would have run their utility in the public right of ways.
But they acquired.
They acquired an
Special
easement
easement to do it.
because there is no right of way existing through that stretch.
Okay. And I guess my question is, we'll kind of pause on some of that. We'll get a little bit of legal clarification. Bill, can you give us a little legal clarification on how some of this stuff on roads and maintenance, what is the actual statute, or I guess, is there legal precedent on some of this stuff?
Well, I assume one of your questions is how does the county acquire a right of way?
Okay, yeah.
You can acquire it through a plat, which is require the landowner to go through the platting process and designate within the plat roads to be used for public right of way. In order for those to be filed in the register of deeds, they need to be approved by the governing body. So that would be a plat that would be approved by the county commissioners. And in doing so, they would accept the right-of-ways that are designated for public use within that plat as a public road. You can also acquire a right-of-way by way of a deed, where you actually are deeded the property, or by an easement, or a right-of-way itself, which again would require the county to accept it as public property and have the responsibility within the discretion of the county commissioners on how much improvement is to be made and the continuing maintenance of that road, which is always reserved by current and future county commissioners for any public right-of-way. The question that came up, and, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and a lot of times I can answer things off the top of my head. There was a comment made, and I don't have an answer off the top of my head, and that was going back to our former Public Works Director, Mike Graff, who apparently made a comment that once the county touches a road, then it becomes a county right-of-way. I don't know whether that's true or not, from a legal perspective. And yeah, and I can't answer that off the top of my head. My first reaction is I don't think that's probably true, because I don't think a public works director would have the authority to declare a private road to be a public right-of-way. That would have to come from the county commission.
Okay.
But that's an off the top of my head opinion, which I would like to take a little bit of time and research that to see if there's any validity to that position.
Okay.
Aside from that, and from what I understand, which isn't a lot more than what's been presented here, there is no document filed in the Register of Deeds where the county has accepted and this road has become a public right-of-way.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that it can't be in the future. And then assuming there hasn't been, then the question is, does the county commission want to start making improvements and maintaining private roads, which is discretionary with each county commission. This county commission, as the chair has indicated earlier, has already kind of issued a statement that we don't want to do that going forward. That doesn't mean a future county commission couldn't do that. And my suggestion would be, if there's at some point in time the county believes that it would be to the overall public benefit to improve this road and or maintain it, then it needs to become a county roadway, either by acquiring a right-of-way or having it replatted or some process where the commission would officially accept the responsibility of owning that road, so to speak, and then deciding how to improve it and how to maintain it going forward.
Okay.
Does that answer?
That answers my question, and
Okay.
I think I kind of want to pause on a lot of the conversation until we get some clarification on if we maintain something. Going back to the greater comment, I would like to get clarification on that. And the last road we went through was Wiles Road. I believe that's our fourth instance that we faced in the past 2 years of some of this, and I believe there's probably another 10 or 15 instances that Brendan's presented to us at our work session. Is that about right, Brendan? Probably 10 or
more than
different.
that, yeah.
Okay, let's say
Those are the high points.
okay, but we have a lot of other outstanding places, and I guess if there's some sort of precedent or something like that that we have to worry about before we make a decision.
Well, I don't,
here.
let me clarify that, or
Okay.
maybe add more to it. It's always within the discretion of the county commissioners how much and to what degree you're going to maintain any public road. So even if at some point in time, because the county has maintained that road, there's an argument to be made that it's now a county road, that doesn't mean the county commission is obligated to maintain it in the future. That's a decision for each county commission at that point in time. And it also wouldn't preclude the county from deciding, well, we're just gonna vacate it.
Mhm. Well, but it would give us, I feel it would give us some guidance on, okay, well, if it's not a county road, if we decide to go that route, if the landowners decide that they want to take it or blockade it off or change it, that becomes their prerogative and kind of go in that route. But if we're somewhat subject that we've already maintained it, I guess, how do we continue down that path?
Well, that is discretionary with the county commission at any point in time.
So if this is.
I mean, you could make a commitment to start maintaining that road now, and we can have a change in the makeup of the county commission in 2 years, and that county commission can say, we're not gonna do that anymore, we're out. And that's discretionary with the county commission.
Okay.
Mr. Gino, what about part of that state right away?
Well, that's controlled by KDOT. The county doesn't have anything to do with that. Yeah. So that would be another issue involved here, and there'd have to be some cooperative agreement between KDOT and Ellis County. Assuming the commission wanted to go forward and, can you hear me okay? Assuming the commission wants to go forward and improve and maintain this road.
I was not able to locate any KDOT agreement for mutual aid or assistance on that section.
Yeah, it's my understanding there is no agreement currently.
I have a question. Tech, at the time we moved out there, they had agreed to pave it. They didn't. That's understandable. But when they paved their road, which was rock to begin with, they put a set of gates in at the end of their property.
That's what I was thinking.
And they were ordered by the county to keep those gates open.
That's what we were told by the protest school. So, I mean, if it comes down to it, the county says that they aren't going to maintain this road anymore. Does the VOTEC school then close those gates and either we maintain it for ourselves or we let it just go back? Is that what we're looking at?
It's leading into this commission meeting, as I looked into some of these things, it was in my purview that, we could maintain this, or go back to that, but if we don't own the right of way, then the property owners, in this case, OKEC, or yourselves, could at any point legally put up a gate and just block it off now. And that was one of my discussion points, and as I was talking to Darren about this topic is, well, what's essentially our protection in these kind of things? Because if they just skate it off, it's their property, you can do that. And as we were discussing here, I was kind of in my head looking at the GIS map, I was like, I thought NCK had a gate there. And I don't know who, again, that goes back to previous commissions or previous administrator or whatever of just kind of these agreements by verbiage. If they told VOTEC not to close it, but there probably was no legal right to tell them to close it. And so.
And it may have been for the purpose of providing access for emergency vehicles, ambulance and fire.
Mr. Jeter, I got a question. Since we don't have any publicly stated or recorded right away that we've been on there with our equipment, is there any way, if there was an accident, so to speak, due to lack of maintenance on that road, could that come back to us on a commission level as it's perceived that we're in charge of it?
Well, first of all, if there was an accident and somebody was injured, the party that's injured is going to look for the deepest pockets to recover money. And Ellis County would have a deeper pocket probably than the landowners. So you'd probably be subject to a lawsuit based on the fact that you at one time had maintained it. I don't think that'd probably be a viable lawsuit unless the county's maintaining was negligent somehow, which may have caused the accident. And then whether it's a private or public road, because we've undertaken to maintain the road, then we'd have some responsibility. That's why it's always been my suggestion from a legal perspective is we have no business maintaining private roads.
And that's kind of what we've, over the last couple of years, as we've come across these, is kind of maintain that, because if we are maintaining it and there's an accident or damage, then that falls on the county.
It falls on the county, and we may be an exclusion under our insurance that it's not even going to be covered in insurance.
wouldn't damage, you may not be able to answer this from the, because this is kind of a private question, but the damage that was done in this case that kind of, you know, it brought this forward, I mean, wouldn't that be essentially recouped by the, in this case, if it's a private road and the damage is done, in this case, wouldn't the private owners essentially request that fix from the company or the driver that damaged the road?
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility, but, you know, the cost of any litigation to recover the damage, to repair the damage to the road is not feasible to pursue.
Okay.
Uh,
I guess at this
And
point,
and I don't know if there's any signage out there or a weight limit or anything else, and I don't know any of the circumstances around why this semi was there, and, but.
Yeah.
There's just a stop sign on the 27th Street at that entrance, just
Mm-hmm.
because of the traffic that comes out of there.
Yeah.
Do we know, Brendan, when was the last time we did maintain it? Do we have a record of that?
I can dig through it, but it was nearly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
On the corner up there by your entrance, yes. But the
Yeah,
remaining
but as far
part
as
of it,
blading and like blading and maintaining. it,
blading and
that-
maintaining the entire section, been about 2 years nearly. We did right at the entrance.
Snow out there twice last year.
Okay, that's news to me. My employees were told to not be back there.
Yeah, that's kind of, because logistically, I'm just gonna point that out, especially now with, 270th Avenue being paved, logistically, to put a grader over there now for that little, I don't know what that is, quarter mile, there's nothing close that a grader would be to other than out there on the Post Rock area. And so now we're gonna have to be sending a grader almost 2 miles out of the way to do a quarter mile one way and then back. So again, that's kind of where logistically it doesn't make sense, and we've been under, again, our kind of a direction is we got to be efficient with our time and usage and not maintain things that we're not supposed to. And there's nothing close to this area now to maintain that. And yeah, I think it's news to you. It might be news to me in this case that if we're driving a grader out of the way to do a quarter mile for snow when we have other snow areas much more impactful throughout the county.
Yep.
Uh,
Just about
I
2
guess I
years
don't-
ago, my employee wanted to send rock on this whole stretch and re-rock the entire section. And that was when we stopped maintenance on that whole segment, regular maintenance.
so I think that was about 2 years ago, because we went down that stretch
Yes,
road
on our road tour.
on our road tour, and we were discussing it, and we had talked about it. I don't ever recall making the decision to stop as is or cease operations. In fact, is the last time when we talked about the Wiles Road, I believe we wanted, before we ceased any more maintenance on stuff that we wanted to get ahead of it, send letters to landowners before we did such. So this kind of jumped up in front of us.
I guess I'm gonna go pretty far back, where the Morgans live. Years ago, my dad done some work in there. There was just a trail to that house. Then all of a sudden, somebody started driving down the middle, and it created a path. It created a road. If you zoom in on Ellis County Portal coming off of 27th Street, the road going east and west up on top says NCK Road. How do these roads get established, these names? Because it makes it look like
Google
it
names
makes
them.
it look like we are liable for maintaining these roads. Not only that, the tower, the other building that's there. How did they get access to install that? And right. And that building also. So like say it was just a trail, somebody would drive through there just because. So it's one of them things. It's a private trail.
When we moved out there, none of the trees were there. We planted
Mhm.
them. There was no road south
Mhm.
of us. the 22nd Street dead ended.
Yes.
There was nothing.
Yes.
We had, where you turn off 27th Street across the north end of the property, and then that long lane clear on the east side, we have maintained that for 40 years. My husband mows, he fills the potholes. He's maintained that whole section because a couple times a year, the road grader came through. As far as on the west side of our property, that road in between, which they now say is Wheatland Avenue. If you look on city maps, they call that Wheatland Avenue. Okay. That road has become wider and wider and used more and more as the VOTEC school has developed. There were two buildings when we moved out there. There was the mechanics building and the nurses building. They've since added an administration building, another building. Now they've added the big new building from after the merger with Fort Hays State. They're now building two homes out there. They started building one home out there about 12 years ago. Now they're building two. All of that traffic from the VOTEC school. I know they have a paved street to the south. They aren't using it. They're going north up to 27th Street and then 27th Street across. That's the primary usage of that road. And when the grants sold us the property, they told us that they had just agreed with the VOTEC school to give them an easement, and the VOTEC school agreed to pave it. They never paved it. It's still gravel. If they paved it 40 years ago, it would have been a whole lot better off now. It didn't happen. But and now they have a CDL program, I believe, where they're running trucks in and out of there. Most of the traffic coming through there is from the VOTEC. Some of it is from Ziggy moving those containers in and out. The hospital does occasionally pull a big semi through there from whatever building they have back over there in the corner. But the amount of traffic on that road has increased exponentially over the years because of the development at the VOTEC school. And I know, you guys put in Wheatland, it goes to 22nd Street, it's all paved, but people aren't using that. Some of the people are, the nursing building down at the end, but primarily the rest of them come from the north side. So if we're looking at who needs to maintain this road for the usage, I would say it's the VOTEC school. And I have absolutely no problem as a landowner closing that off because I don't use it. I go out 27th Street just like everybody else. But I don't have to go down that road to get to 27th Street and get on there where it's paved. And I live in the country on purpose. I didn't want people in my front yard. You people keep putting more people in my front yard. Just heads up. I'm fine with it. I can go down my lane. I can go across the north end. I can get out. Ron in a lane can get out there and go out the north way and get out. But somebody tore up the land in front of their lane and nobody is fixing it. Nobody. I've heard different reports. One that the CDL driver tore it up when he jackknifed his trailer there. One that one of Ziggy's drivers tore it up when he jackknifed his trailer there. I don't know who did it. But the point is, we need to know who's supposed to fix this.
I should know because I called them out there because it was blocking traffic for like
A
2
long time.
hours. Yeah, for 2 hours. It blocked the whole intersection.
Brendan, on any other drive, once we have driveways, so let's step back here a little bit. That would be a driveway coming off of, if we determine that this is not a road or is a road, however we do it, the driveway coming off of 27th Street with a culvert. That would be something that we would have put in at some point in time.
Correct, the entrance, yes.
And that was just used years back, getting back at the trail. You start a trail, it's going to start a road. And that's what happened. That was just access to the houses on the west side of where the Adams lived. But that road didn't go back to your house at that time because it wasn't there. That was a road access to that property.
But if a driveway gets tore up, I mean, pretty greatly tore up, do we fix driveways?
No, that's responsibility of the property owner.
So once it is,
Unless we either add material, if we built the roadway up, join it, or cut the roadway down, we will fix that slope, the
Okay.
approach. But we do not top dress, add material to the top of that.
How could it be more property
my driveway, I don't know.
It's state right away, so the county doesn't own it either. It's like any field entrance out or any rural residential entrance, the county installs a culvert if necessary, provides the fill material, and then the top surface is responsibility of the property owner. The only time that changes is when the county does a road project that changes the elevation of the road and the elevation of the approach. So if we pave a road and put a lift of asphalt on a roadway, we pave back the safety edge onto the private property, onto the property owner, because they've already surfaced their roadway.
But since you've already put rock on this several times since we've lived there.
You've raised the elevation.
You've raised the elevation.
The
Correct.
approach, no, so what I'm talking is where the approach, so if we.
On the north, the east-west road, they're on
Yes,
the north.
so if we repave 27th Street and now there's a 6-inch drop off on that entrance, we would put a safety edge in.
Okay.
So it would meet up, so it wouldn't just be a straight shot.
Wouldn't be a problem.
But any surfacing from there on back is responsibility of the property owners. That's how the county has treated all of their entrances across the county.
Okay, somebody the other day put in a whole bunch of asphalt shavings from 27th Street down onto that road. We didn't do it.
Don't believe it was the county.
I don't know who did it.
I don't know, we did.
We didn't do it.
Yes, it's right out there. South top.
They should have kept going.
It wasn't very smooth, so I went out and tried to smooth it out.
I decided that it was, you know, the nice berries that came in and put it down and overnight,
Well, you made it easier for the semis to turn. Yeah.
but I don't know who did it.
It wouldn't have been the county that put it out, because if we would have had a machine to lay it out smoother. And we've been directed not to. Given direction to staff, not to at this time.
Drop it out there, they don't have to get a tractor and all over that.
It's hard telling where the VOTEC students are gonna.
Yeah,
drive.
well, it does seem like, I mean, if that gate were closed, that would eliminate
Yeah.
90% of the traffic.
It would.
It would.
And it would take them a while to learn that, hey, this is, and then assign, again, I'm not saying this is the solution you want, but it just in my head, it's like, well, if that gate's closed, that closes that off, that eliminates a lot of traffic, and then you just put a private, a sign that says private road on somewhere, or private entrance.
They don't listen to that. We
Well, I
have a
know.
sign that says
I
private
mean,
road
it's
on
gonna
the
take,
south side and the
it's
sign
gonna
that says
take
private
time
road.
for the, students to realize that this is closed, but at some point you realize this is not maintained, but. Yeah.
Every time we turn around, just skipping the road and going past it, going, they're so used to going through that, they're not gonna stop.
So
I'm trying
if,
to tell you.
That would
if
be,
we want the VOTEC school to close that gate so that we don't end up maintaining it, if you guys decide you're not maintaining it, how do we go about that?
I'm gonna look at Bill on that. It feels like a little bit of a legal.
That would be an issue between you and the VOTEC.
Okay,
Wouldn't involve the county.
at all?
No.
They probably already included it in this conversation, VOTEC.
Maybe.
Okay.
And not only that, the people that have the tower, the people that have the other building there, they should all be.
That's
Um,
LA Enterprise, rentals.
And last night I had talked with Darren. I was trying to figure out, you guys live out there. Wasn't it just here not too long ago? There was construction going on south and people had to use the 27th to come through that property? Okay.
So they replaced that, Wheatland Drive.
Yep. Okay.
Put the pavement in that.
Use this, but don't help us.
We put up fence alongside our house because they were driving through a path, as you like to bring up,
Mm-hmm.
and going down our lane and tearing our lane up, something awful. So, yeah, we put up posts, we put up T-posts and ran wire to keep people from driving around the edge and then going down our lane. And like I said, there are private property signs, it's private drive, and something.
I've had to pull several VOTEC kids out of the field because they tried to go around things.
And that was on the east side of your house, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where Wheatland Avenue was originally platted.
Mm-hmm.
Platted but not constructed. It's part of the Tallgrass #2 plat.
To expand on other options, then, if we were to look at it then and say, okay, again, if we wanted this to become a county road, it's currently private, and we wanted to make that a legal binding document, what would be that process they would need? And it looks like it'd be 4
Well-
owners or 5 owners potentially that would need to come to the county
The
with
first
a.
process is we probably need to have it surveyed, determine what width of a right of way we need,
Mhm.
and have it surveyed, determine who the property owners were, and then go to each property owner and acquire a easement from them for that roadway. Because, I mean, where it stands now, the county owns none of that.
Yes.
So we'd have to get a right of way from each of the landowners on either side of where well, including the road itself.
No.
Yeah, it looks like.
Well,
I
we
see,
need to
yeah.
have it surveyed, determine
it.
who those landowners are, and acquire rights of way. And then, of course, the commission in its discretion then could determine as a public right of, well, those right of ways would then be filed in the Register of Deeds office. The county would then maintain control of that right of way, and it'd be discretionary with the county commission on the improvement to be made to the right of way and the maintenance of that improvement going forward, if any. I assume you wouldn't go through that process if you weren't gonna improve it and maintain it, but that's still, we never need to forget that it's still discretionary on future county commissions, what level of maintenance or improvement on any county road. So it wouldn't be, it's not a difficult process or particularly complicated unless there were issues with any of the landowners in acquiring a right of way. And then you would always have the option of going through eminent domain, which would be a little bit more lengthy and expensive. And it may be a avenue that the county would decide we're not gonna do that. Either the landowners are all gonna cooperate and provide us rights of way, or we're out of it, which we are essentially right now anyway.
Another factor that would play into this, as some of these easements have shown, there are underground utilities that are right next to that right of way, so, or that so-called Wheeling Avenue. If the county were to have it surveyed and go through that process, you're gonna have to acquire more than what's given, which is then going to overlay private easements of water lines, utility lines, et cetera. And as you've experienced in the past, those get up to 6 figures in moving those utilities very quickly. And although those may only be a quarter-mile road, moving utility lines, fiber lines, whatever else may be in those easements previously, they're not in our right-of-way, so that would be at the county's expense to have to move all those before we could pave a new road over top of them and acquire the proper surveys for drainage and all that kind of stuff as well to make sure we would build a road correctly.
On the GIS, just looking at this portal, like Ron and Elaine Adams, I don't know how accurate these are, but like Mr. Jeter said, to get a survey, I don't know if you have ever looked at that, but it shows you guys owning on the north side of NCK Road out by 27th Street, just like Brandon said, where we are responsible for the culvert. And then as far as the other property by the Morgans, Cheryl, is that whatever? It shows her owning on the way west side of that so-called trail road.
Right, I was looking at that too.
So, and then, like I say, your guys's, that whole stretch through there from the north-south, you're owning on the way north side of that so-called trail that you've pulled people out on the north side. I don't know how accurate them are, but like I say, a survey would tell us the best thing. But
I would like to make a suggestion to my fellow commissioners that we go ahead and continue light maintenance while we work through this. Maybe a little bit of rock at the entrance until we can figure out and the landowners can come to a conclusion of what they propose. Maybe they want to close it off. But put a little rock in right off the 27th there, because it's been perceived that we've been taking care of this for 40 years. So I would suggest that we put a little bit of effort into it and then help work through this with these individuals that are here, to where if we decide to close gates or change traffic patterns, it allows us the time to do so.
Well, we did not do that on Wiles Road. I don't like that idea. If we're gonna set a standard, let's go with it and stay. I would be in agreement, close that gate. How long it's gonna last, somebody's probably gonna cut the padlock. But we can have, law enforcement there at that time too, and go from there.
I agree with you for the most part, other than the fact that Wiles Road sees 1 to 2 vehicles daily versus probably 30. Just throwing a number out there. So
yeah.
So
I guess that highlights a little more of the issue, though. If we go in there and do a quick maintenance of it, then it gives the appearance, and if we're trying to limit the traffic on there, but now we go in and do some upkeep on it, and it looks like a road that's been maintained, now you're just attracting more students to go through there. I get the sense you'd prefer the students not drive through there and have less traffic. So if we improve the road or maintain it, yeah, that's where I'm like, I don't know. I hate to tell you what to do. It's your land, but if you close the gate, I would say if we close the gate and then we did a little maintenance on it to get that fixed, what was damaged, but the gate's closed, so that way it limits the traffic going forward, and then we stop we don't have to stop maintenance because we're not maintaining it. But I don't want to be in the situation where we do a little light maintenance, the gate never gets closed, it just keeps dragging this issue out of people going down it, and now I think it's going to be overly expensive to go through the survey process and try to move easements. I just don't see that being overly beneficial.
And does John take most of his out on 27th, his containers?
Also, Ham's proposing to put another business in there, and they will all use that, because the storage buildings along there too, so that will all use that 27th Street tower too.
And have you looked at this, Brandon?
yes.
Okay.
I guess we'd have to
would
find out
agree
from
to close some of the
NCK.
traffic off, and then turn it over into a civil matter. But I don't feel that it's right to return property that it's looked like we've maintained for 40 plus years in disrepair either. We didn't do that to the city. So, and then if we close the gates, then it becomes a civil matter, and if they want to, if those businesses want easements and want to go that route, that's their prerogative.
I guess we have to find out if NCK's, if they want to close the gates too. That's kind of the.
Well, that becomes.
Because if they don't, if they don't want to close it, then you can't really force them to close it. Then you'd have to essentially build your own gate on your side.
To you, that
So.
would be my next steps to talk with people at NCK.
I've been sending notes, and we'll certainly have some follow-up conversations. I've also asked President Burks to talk to Darren, copied Joe Bain in on it, and I've also already sent a note to research the grant, just so that we have that option. So happenstance that I'm here, if we can be part of the solution, we want to be. And there's a difference between posting a sign in a gate and having an orientation, everything, some conversations with students about why they can't use that road or whatever. So there, you've got lots of options. I just want to say we're going to be a partner in all this.
Well, with that, if we can work through options and kind of get this settled somewhat quickly in a route like that, I guess I would be okay with getting it cleaned up this one, at this time, and we work through options quickly within the next month or so.
What'll happen is we can surely we could change some of the stuff to where after semester, if they come back, we could have something say, okay, at the end of semester, there's no more access down that road until further notice. We could at least do that, and then that would buy us What, we have 2 weeks, 3 weeks worth of classes approximately? Well, commencement,
This is the last week for class and commencement next week final, so we've got about 2 weeks. I think that they're on the same schedule.
okay. So we could easily limit that and then after semester have it partially closed off or the gates closed until they can civilly work through it.
And maybe, Mr. Jeter, I'm question for you. Can we put a counter on there, see what kind of flow is going through there?
Probably not without
private?
landowner's
Okay.
approval.
How about the approach off of 27th? Can we put
It's
one
not
there?
just to put them that turning.
Okay.
Yeah,
trailer
probably do
tubes.
that.
So just so I understand, smooth out the northern east-west section and the north-south section. And then holding pattern,
hold on.
we're in
hold
winter
off on-
time. Do we do snow removal? Do we?
I think this is a one-time, let's get it,
So just smooth it out and then
and then we'll.
wait for further
and then-
orders.
And we'll hear back from NCK Tech on the gates. If that's, how that, and the landowners on what their agreement is on whether NCK Tech closes it or whether they want to put a different gate up or whether they work through.
Or if the
other
landowners want
options.
to petition to have it become a
Yeah.
road and then
And then
go
we
through
gotta
that
work through
pattern,
that,
just so
but-
we all have, the legal standing to do so.
Yeah, all the property owners along there, like say, including the tower and including the building, John's business. I guess you're all gonna have to work together on that for.
And just so you know that we'll smooth it out and then that'll be the end of our work for now.
That's what I get. Additional basis off that.
Yeah, if it just.
Do you want me to reconstruct the
I-
roadway?
No,
Or
we cannot do reconstruction right now.
I just, yeah. If it needs to be bladed smooth or something, that's fine, but I don't want to add material or do a lot of work.
I
It's-
couldn't hear you. You said blade it smooth, add material, or
No, don't. I
Okay.
would not
No
add
additional
material at
material.
this point.
Okay,
This
so-
is,
smooth out the path, east, west, and north, south.
And
Might
if
as well
if it's
percentage
mud, he
rate it
will,
there.
Brandon will watch it and work it when it's right. So
it's gonna take
some time now with the temperatures.
That'll help us at least get to the end of semester and then allow some time for other action.
Quick question, just as the landowner's perspective, do you, or would you, as a group, as there being 4 or 5 parcels there, are even willing to consider the option of replatting and losing property to give right away for the proper, it'd be, because if that's not even an option, that kind of eliminates that completely off the table, and
Some land off the west side of my property so that they can put a road in that I don't want.
correct. Because if that's not even something you don't want,
Yeah.
then that
Then,
just,
yeah,
I think that clarifies a lot for
then,
the
yeah.
commission. If you don't want that, then that kind of helps also in my conversation with President, or Mr. Burke, that we know that that's not something that you want to
I
pursue.
am speaking personally. I have not talked to the other landowners. But no, I don't want a road.
Because this piece of property right here is yours, correct?
Yes.
So that
And all that you-
primarily, most of that road
That's
is
what-
impacted by you.
If you look at that Neil's is showing, that's what I saw too.
Yeah.
It actually, that's probably where that easement is. It goes up in there. John Ziegler's is
That
actually
way they-
not,
Frontage road, they have access to state
Yeah.
right away.
yeah. But the
John's-
property owner is
John's lease,
Cheryl Morgan.
from L&A,
Yeah.
the property that he set containers on over there on the other side, on the west side.
So to me, it'd be Cheryl, the tower owner,
Yep.
that other piece, and then
Do we
the
just do
Adams.
the northern east-west portion, or also include maintenance on
Yeah.
smoothing out the north-south?
Well, you got the landowners right here. She doesn't want a road, so
So
what
just the-
what is your
Just do the.
thought
the
right now?
frontage.
One of three.
Right.
I will listen to my
But you have, Cheryl has that whole thing through there, which that, yes.
It's not only just this section down here, but you have
It
that.
has frontage road access.
Yes.
Yes.
And then Ziggy owns that one corner up there, and then he leases on the other side of the road from Ham. And then Ham has that other whole section down to where the arrow comes. And Ham is wanting to kick Ziggy out for that rental part.
And that's all done through the easements that have been acquired
Yeah.
between private
Private
parties to have
entities.
that right of way or easement access to those properties, those businesses. So I think that clarifies at least a little bit on our end that if at least the majority of the property owners in that area that would have the need to us or to give up right of way are not in favor of having that road, I think that clarifies a lot as well as how to proceed.
And I think what Elaine's getting at, you want that approach fixed because that goes to your house. And they tear it up and the Morgans don't want a road.
My little tractor, but you know,
Yeah.
as soon as it rained, it was just base because they tore up all the rock. The other option for me is let me put a column in and take my driveway straight out, and I don't have to go like this to get out. But years ago, they denied us the right to put a culvert in.
That's too many, too close together. They'd be too close together for adequate safe
Because they said
spacing.
it's too many things, so, okay, you won't allow me to put my own driveway in, but you won't keep up the public property to let me out, so. See what I'm saying? You have to give a little chew to let me have my culvert.
And back when, that approach off of 27th was not designed for semis. That was just driveway to your house. And then somebody created a trail and it created a road.
And then as the county maintained it, they probably widened it
Yep.
slowly as they went,
Mhm.
so.
We sold the corner cleaner, man. He was supposed to sell that versus somebody under Yeah.
Well,
So smooth out the northern east-west section then?
Yeah.
And then
And
leave
just
the
kinda,
portion
yeah.
down to
Clean up the,
NCK or
yeah,
4H.
the
Approach
entrance,
and-
the approach, get that kind of cleaned up, stable, and then
At one
go.
time, it's been some years, I talked to John Ziegler about it, it's taken 75 retainers just to Walmart. So that's a lot of in and out traffic.
Mhm.
Just in one location.
And then if you approve those storage buildings, but that's gonna be a lot of traffic too. Because of
Well,
people in and out of storage buildings.
that becomes, so if it doesn't, if you as the landowners don't come before us and petition and go through all the legal hoops to make it a road, it becomes a civil and easement
Mhm.
scenario, and those property owners would have to maintain it. They would have to add gravel and add top coating.
I happened to get a hold of him and tried to tell him to come to the two, John Ziegler was supposed to come.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at is, so right now we'll smooth it up and then we're gonna allow some time for civil conversations to happen on what direction to go.
I'm
Okay.
just not gonna maintain a road for public use.
Okay.
I mean, that's just bottom line.
And that's understandable.
Don't blame you.
I mean, I get it. You guys are saying, you know,
Mhm.
this isn't a county road, you guys aren't using it, you don't wanna maintain it. Same thing. I don't wanna maintain a road for public use.
So that's where the easement conversations will need to be readdressed.
So there already are easements
Civilly.
for those properties.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's
or
not us.
Close it, yeah.
And that's not for us here. I would direct Brendan though, again, before we just stop all of our other maintenance that we've been perceived to be doing, before we just stop and have more of these, please, let's address the issue and then we can send out some letters to these landowners that way they know. So before we just stop and have it dropped on us again.
Yep.
I appreciate
Okay.
That, because if you would have known this 6-8 months ago, 2 years ago, we'd be having different conversations. So.
Okay. All right, next item. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
And addressing the commission with your concerns. I appreciate that we had a conversation about it.
Yep.
Yes.
So long.
Nope, it's all right. Anytime.
But there's more. Enterprise asset management
There's more.
software purchase.
Uh,
Continue on. I'm gonna stretch my.
We're gonna move that one, I thought.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, he said it right.
Did I?
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah, my,
Gotcha.
13, yep.
I'm just gonna stand, so you're good.
Okay. Brendan McKay, Ellis County Public Works Director. Before you is the agreement with OpenGov to purchase the enterprise asset management software solution from them for a 5-year period. So as commission's aware, right now, all of our work orders and daily work is done on paper. The employees fill out their paper timesheets. Those go to a supervisor to be coded. And then from there, after being coded, they get sent over to noxious weed staff to input them into a asset management solution. That asset management solution that they currently utilized is a legacy system that is no longer, it's limited user access. You have to be on a certain domain to do it, so there's no entry from the field, and you can only have so many users, as well as the owner of that software company has passed away, so no one knows where that solution will be moving forward. As part of that, we looked at solutions to modernize the department, allow the employees to enter their time themselves for the work they've done. So that way, when we get asked, when was the last time you moved snow? I can pull it up right here and tell you the last time that information was entered in. Not going back and looking at paper records and hoping they were entered correctly. With that, we received 11 proposals. Staff ranked them, and we had demonstrations from the majority of them throughout the process, and then we narrowed it down to final 4 contestants based on scoring matrix and demonstrations, and had additional staff brought in for those demonstrations. With that said, OpenGov solution is the preferred solution by my staff between Public Works and Noxious Weed.
So in other words, you're wanting this because of just what kind of happened in here. That way we can get everything recorded
And
when
for
we
other
do
things,
something.
yes. So that way,
Yes.
the data is recorded right now, but it's a lag time.
Right.
And it's taking 3 people to get
To
one
do.
thing in there.
Right.
Trying to modernize and be more efficient, one person entering it themselves now, and then there's the accountability, the employees entering it themselves. They're going to be accountable for their own actions, and then we're not trying to read. I don't have great handwriting. Some of my employees don't have great handwriting either. They can type, and the reason that this solution was preferred was they don't have to type in there. There is voice to speech or speech to text recognition. It was the only software solution that had that functionality in it. It's currently utilized by Saline County. They've been using it for a number of years. So if the commission does approve this, move with this direction, I will send staff over there to find out how they implemented, what they wish they did differently, so that way we can learn from their experience in order to set ourselves up for success.
Will this be, so like a maintainer, will they have to put in the roads that they did or
Yes, sir.
highlight, or will this track the GPS location? of
Does
the-
not track GPS location. There was a solution that did that. That was 400,000 plus a year.
Okay.
That was out of our price range and out of our scope. So this is still the employees clicking on the assets or road segments or bridges that they worked on each day and entering their time and equipment in.
Okay.
Basically what they're doing on, same thing they do on their paper timesheet where they maintain 5 hours and then they highlight the map on the back, what roads they maintain. This is just being electronic.
So does this break down digitally, miles maintained per operator then at the end?
You
for-
could, yes, there's
for
different reports
ease
you
of
can run.
Management issues and
Yeah.
such?
There's all different types of reports that can be run that way, where you can see miles maintained or amount of time spent, or you can look at the segment of roadway and see how many times that roadway has been maintained in the past year or 3 years or 5 years.
But it's still gonna go off of
Employee entry.
employee entry.
Yes, sir.
Can employee entry be manipulated?
Yes, they could do it wrong. So it's gonna be spot checked by the supervisors, myself, and the project manager.
Okay.
So it's gonna be baby steps. It's not just, this solution's still 9 months out from the day of assigning before it's implemented and rolled out. And when it's rolled out, there's gonna be lots of training being done with the employees on it. And then there'll be checks on that to make sure it's being entered correctly and accurately. Because if I can't trust my employees to enter it incorrectly, no amount of GPS is gonna be the right solution for them. But a lot of the machines already have GPS on them. It just won't communicate with any system like this. So if there are issues, we can go back and look and see really in that area, was this an error? As well as being out there physically. We can tell when a road's been worked in the last day.
Mhm.
Because if you got grass right up in the middle of the road, it hasn't been worked in the last day or week.
Right.
So there'll be spot checks, physical and then digital checks.
Okay.
The public will have access to this to see?
No.
No. Okay.
There'll be a portal that we can add on, but we already have Civic Ready, Civic Plus, which is where they can take reports online.
Okay.
There's a similar solution within this that we may roll out in the future, but we already have, the county's already paying for a solution. I don't see the benefit in doubling up on solutions.
Okay.
Give them one place to go for those issues. If you give them too many places, the information could get lost.
I guess I was just looking at the aspect of if the commissioners get asked that question by somebody in the public, I say, hold on, let me get on my phone, let me get on the computer, I can tell you when.
Commission can look, yes, but
Okay.
members of the public.
Okay. All right.
And one,
That-
if
that answers-
commission is no longer commissioner, we'll revoke access. That's
That
something
answers
that
the
we can
question
do.
then. Okay.
So this is not gonna be like what you see like with KDOT where you can pull up and see where the file trucks are on that.
Correct.
Okay.
Those solutions are quite a lot more expensive.
Okay.
And those don't track work orders like this. That's just the GPS solution that you can see.
Got it.
Okay. And there's a way for a public to, I guess, report a,
So we already have one within the county. They did explain that that is a solution in here.
okay, yeah, but.
I don't know of any county that's actually currently using it.
Hmm.
Or any agency that's currently using that function of it. Because if you get a disgruntled in person, they can enter lots of things and then it's over. You may not be able to remove or eradicate that information.
Will this be available to our public safety officers, our sheriff's department, where they're out and about in these counties and they may see things?
They can. We've got a limited number of users.
Okay.
So if it's something that we find that they see a benefit in, after we roll it out, I wouldn't say day one.
Right.
Give them access, let us get a feet underneath us and understand how the system's gonna benefit us before we roll it out to others, but we have unlimited users with this solution, so it's
Okay.
something that public safety, fire, EMS, all can utilize as well if they just so desire. So if an employee of mine right now sees an issue with this system, they can take a picture with the tablets we'll provide them, right in the spot with its GPS pinpoint, and either sign it to the asset if it's a culvert or a bridge, or sign it to the road asset being the roadway with the pinpoint showing exactly where it is. So it's going to help with communication back. If it's a culvert that the operator feels is undersized, when we reply back to them, we did a drainage study, we contacted X, Y, or Z engineer, they conducted a drainage study. This culvert is fine for a 10 or 15-year storm event, which meets our standards. Now there's record of that. So that way that employee knows that it didn't just fall on deaf ears or didn't get lost or they don't recall that we've got record showing that we've had that conversation back. So it helps accountability at both levels.
Okay.
It helps my employees keep upper management, myself accountable, and it helps us keep them accountable.
So the minute they take picture, hit submit, it's to.
It's a work order, it's in the system. And then it can either assign priorities or you can assign things to individuals to go do something. So for large projects like our asphalt work, we'll assign that to employees, so it's all on one work order. Whereas if they're just out doing regular maintenance, they'll create their own work orders as they're going, putting their miles in. So that way it's easy to look up one whole project. It's just regular maintenance, just one person on that. If it's a project involving multiple individuals, it's just one project to look into.
Darren, would you scroll down to the matrix piece on the bid? So there's we got bids from 10 companies, and then keep going, scrolling down a little more. There's kind of a matrix that you broke out. Explain that a little bit to the public. So it looks like you got different scores.
Yep.
And then the one OpenGov has the highest score of 92. Explain that a little bit on how this matrix.
So the scoring matrix was based on 5 points. There was company experience, because there are some solutions that just came out last year or came out yesterday, may not be the best fit for us. There's proposed solution, so not everyone offered the same thing. Some offered GPS tracking, some offered no GIS integration, so that's why there's ranking on that differently. Reporting options, so we can run reports for our state report, our year-end report, or monthly reports if the or any reports the commission would like to see or we like to use for ourselves. Some options had ones where it's just a template and you can only do it, you get 5 templates, and that's the only reports you can run. Some is unlimited. And then there's additional services. So there was key items that we wanted the software solution to have, and anything in addition to that that we saw beneficial would get more points on that. And then there was the cost. So it ranked all of those things in there. The solution we went with is not the cheapest. It is by and far not the most expensive though, but it's the one that is right for the operation. If we want to go with the cheapest, we can, but that's not the direction I recommend we go at this time, and neither does my staff. I think we go with the solution that works for us best based on all of our matrix.
And you said Saline County's had this for how many years?
They had them when they were still Cartograph. They got bought out by OpenGov. It's been at least 9 years, I'd say.
I think this will go a long way to helping that department move forward with all the changes that we've helped them make out there.
It's also going to be for noxious weed too. They can track their mowing and spraying on which side of the road. That was the biggest reason why it worked for road and bridge, and it also worked for noxious weed.
Okay.
Okay.
Will he be able to report wind and weather conditions in?
That's something he's going to have to add in himself in all likelihood.
Okay.
Or they may find their own solution for that part for the spraying, because they have certain logs they have to track and keep.
Mm-hmm.
Surely on something like that, that there's an open area where you can type in.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know if that'll be sufficient for the state requirements.
Okay.
So they may have their own
Right.
logger that they can use, and then if this works for them, they can use this.
So with a 5-year contract, so data implementation conversion, then we got a 5-year contract, so we won't. I guess is there any additional cost for the next 3 to 4 years with
$2,800 on-site training.
Okay.
So that should be the only cost in addition to this for the next 5 years.
And we already have the tablets and such.
We
on
have
hand.
19 tablets from the fire department, and because this is 9 months out, I haven't purchased tablets yet or data plans for them because they'd be sitting idle for 9 months. So as we get closer to rolling this out, that is when we'll get those tablets and get the data packages for them.
Okay.
I didn't feel it was wise to spend money to have it sit in a closet for the next 9 months.
Gotcha.
But all staff will have them minus front office staff because they're by a computer all the time.
Okay.
Is there other years with 5 years? I think 5 years is appropriate. I didn't know if there's like a 3-year or 6-year or 10-year.
So they gave us options from 1 to 5.
Okay.
That's what we had. All proposals submit options for 1 to 5 because depending upon the solution, we may be able to afford a 5-year timeline, and that way it's not hitting future years' budgets.
What is it for annually then? Because that breaks down to about 20,000 a year, which seems like
Gotta
a
write
good
that one
deal.
down on me.
So I just, years,
Yeah.
6
So
years from now, are we looking at,
Yeah.
$100,000 annual renewal or something like that, or is it?
It is. It went up a few percent every year. So I think
Yeah.
the last year was like, started out at 19,000 and a little bit changed. I think the 5th year cost was like 23,000, but then they also gave us a discount if we did a 5-year agreement of 12%, I believe. I don't have my email in front of me where they.
Okay. I think that works. I would agree.
I guess that would be
5.
one of my questions to Saline County, if they've been in it for that many, 4 years, 5 years, what it increments it's jumping. every year.
All the software solutions are gonna go up in
Yes.
price, so year over year. I believe theirs is between a 1% and a 3% annual increase.
Okay. Well, I'll move to approve PO number 7953 to OpenGov for Enterprise Asset Management Solution for Public Works Divisions.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion, modifications, inquiries? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Brendan, while you're here, I drove Victoria Road Sunday with my son. He's been doing driving with him. Victoria Road from Toulon all the way to Victoria is pretty
Very
beat up.
sloppy, yeah.
Yeah, and I know it just snowed. It's going to be wet and stuff, but maybe some maintenance on that road. if you
Yeah.
have time.
So we got hit right before Thanksgiving with that cold or that real soft rain that softened everything up. So we had staff working Tuesday and Wednesday on roads they could, and then snow yesterday. So they're out working, but I'll make sure they
Okay.
take a look at that.
Appreciate it.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you. Safe
Thank
trip to
you.
you as
Safe-
you go up to your conference.
Yep. Safe trip.
Let's see. So now we're going back up. Justin's been sitting there patiently. Solid Waste Management Plan, SWMP Annual Review.
Good morning, Commissioners. Justin
Morning.
Craig, Environmental Services Director. Before you today is the annual review of our solid waste management plan. This is required to be updated every 5 years with major changes, but then we do an annual review for any minor changes that are in there. There was a few staffing changes, some retirements. So we had to update some members, added a few vendors, changed some verbiage. Should you choose to approve the report, I will get it sent off to KDHE with the minutes of this, and that will satisfy the requirements for that.
I'm a part of this plan and read through it. And, like he said, we updated a few names and vendors. That's about it. With that, I would move to approve the annual review of the report of the Ellis County Solid Waste Management Plan.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 I do have one question
Oh,
before.
sorry.
As far as the commercial stuff, like the paint and that, how much, is that quite a bit that we've received?
Are you talking
Like paint
the
and
hazardous
hazard?
waste
Yes.
stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That's on the next agenda item.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I jumped.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
talking on the plan.
Okay, got it. Well, that's my question.
I'll call for the vote again. We got a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor say aye.
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 Sorry about that.
No opposed, passes 3-0. Yep. Household hazardous waste, HHW rate increase.
Justin Craig, Environmental Services Director. So before you today is a proposed rate increase for our household hazardous waste disposal collections. This, just to clarify, it won't affect the average citizen of Ellis County. They can still bring up to 55 pounds every month for free, drop it off whole paint, poisons, just about anything you can think of. This will mainly affect, I'd put it, just say there's a maintenance department at Fort Hays or whatever, and they have just, 3 or 4 cans of stains, some old latex paints, antifreeze. Generally, you can only bring 55 pounds for free, but as a business, they could bring that to us as long as they don't generate that every month, more than 55 pounds. But this would be the fees that we would charge them to dispose of that waste along with the rest of our waste.
So this is I guess, proposal on raising the rate for over 55 pounds per month. But if a company comes in as a once a year deal and says, hey, we got to get rid of it, we're still going to work with them?
Yes.
Say that again, if they-
We're still going to work with them as you kind of stated that we would, if they came in a one-time deal that said, hey, we got to clean up and get this out of here?
Correct. So if they were to come in, say that, like I said, a maintenance company came in and they had, just say 100 pounds of paint, normally we wouldn't accept that for free. We would charge them these rates to put that with our waste to help cover that cost of disposal. Now say if the average citizen say they're cleaning out, their father passed away and they're cleaning out their farm, that we would accept for free. This would be mainly for a business or an out-of-county citizen that would bring that to us.
Okay. I did receive a call this morning and he wanted to be here but couldn't. He was concerned about raising the rates. He said, just keeping in mind for us that every time we do something or raise a rate or something, he said, don't push it out into the county via somebody dump it in a ditch, especially household hazardous waste, and we have to pick it up anyway. So that was his concern, is if we were to raise it, would we be having more of those problems in our ditches, and our public works has to pick it up and take care of it.
Yeah,
And
this
then we expose them to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this, like I said, this wouldn't apply to the average citizen, so if they had paint or whatever, if it's a farmer that has it, they could still bring it to us like that. This would mainly concern mostly businesses that have paint that's just been laying around that they have collected over the years, or former businesses and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much would this actually affect? I mean, what budgetary wise, what do you think number wise this is going to affect?
Overall, maybe throughout the year, maybe $2,000-3,000. It's not a whole lot. It's just the disposal cost of it, and it varies. Sometimes we will get somebody that will bring in a large load that we should charge them for with this, because it is expensive to get rid of it.
Okay.
I kind of agree, Justin. I think it affects a few. If somebody's dumping 55 gallons worth of paint in the ditches out there, man, that's gonna become a federal issue. That's gonna be a legal issue that somebody's gonna get in trouble for. There's always gonna be somebody probably, has got a gallon of paint or something, but again, that doesn't really affect them. If they dump it out in the ditch, that's gonna happen. But I think with this situation, this is for large quantities, and I would really hope somebody that's got 55 gallons or more isn't just dumping it because they want to save a few bucks.
Yeah, and some of this, I guess, it kind of pertains to, so that a larger business that has paint like that, or for us to accept it, and we have to ship it off, and I don't believe it's right to put that tax burden or that burden on the taxpayer or the with the fees we've collected. But the point I'm getting at is if they were to try to dispose of that themselves, it would cost them way more to contact someone like Clean Harbors to come pick it up. This is a cheaper alternative for them to dispose of it properly. Basically, just the fees would cover their costs, the cost to dispose of it for us.
Okay, now that I jumped ahead, how many times do you get that?
Maybe once a month, twice a month. It's not a lot. Yeah.
That's nothing then.
It's basically just kind of an adjustment to cover the actual cost of what it cost us to dispose of it.
I'll move to approve proposed rate increases for the disposal of household hazardous waste effective January 2nd, 2026.
I'll second it.
Before we vote, how much, I guess, what is going to be our rate of increase? I got to go back down through here. We're talking very minimal on our rate of increase of
Yeah, it's
maybe
not too much.
7 cents a pound. Or
Yeah, latex paint would go up about 20 cents.
20 cents,
Fuel blends would go up 40 cents. Corrosive is 57 cents. Roughly the same for poisons. And that's generally aligned with what it costs to get rid of them.
Okay.
So say a drum, just the regular poisons is $350 to ship it off, plus the cost of the drum, which is about $100. And then the administration fees and the transport fees that were charged to Clean Harbors to get rid of it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna ask a question. How do you do the fluorescent light bulbs?
We can landfill.
Okay.
Yeah, a few of them. I think it's up to five a day. So
Okay.
we don't see them very often anymore. I used to see them quite a bit, but just sit down there and kind of get rid of them sporadically. I'm hoping someday to get a grant, you can get money out there. They actually have a crusher. It has a drum. You throw them in there. It's got a chain that spins around and just crushes it. It's really expensive. Maybe someday.
and we send all these materials off. We don't dispose it. This all is transported away from Ellis County.
The majority of it is sent to Clean Harbors in Wichita. We do have a shelf down there of new products that people can come look at and get. We use a lot of it around the landfill. If it's poisons or pesticides, herbicides, we'll use some of that there. WD-40 break. We get a lot of that. We salvage what we can use.
Okay.
We got a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And even more patiently, the Health Director Melissa Miller here on 2025 vaccination purchase.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Melissa Miller, Ellis County Health Department. I'm here to request approval for the purchase order to finish up the vaccine purchases for 2025. I can be brief. You can see in the discussion, this is kind of a completion of that termination of the contract that we had with VaxCare. So next year, we have the vaccine built into our budget. So this will be the last purchase order to complete those charges.
Darren, do you want to go through the numbers on kind of how we've come about, how we're measuring up, I guess, for what you and I talked about last night? From getting out of the VaxCare to where we're at today.
Yes, I can. Darren Myers, County Administrator. Melissa and I have been working through her budget this year. As you know, she inherited the budget, and the budget was approved in September of 24, which the VaxCare was terminated November, December of 24. So the budget for this year was set for the health department, which included the expenses of VaxCare. And at that point, if you remember, it was kind of hard for the explanation of how this was going to progress over the next year, because we were dealing with numbers that weren't budgeted for expenses that we were paying, but also then we're trying to work through the revenues that we would get for expenses that we would have to purchase and trying to make how all that would flow out. So to kind of help with that, we looked at that time, VaxCare, we were charging or had an expense of about $15,000 to $20,000. And VaxCare was a program that we would, they provide a software solution, a storage cabinet. Basically, they would supply the health department with vaccines, and then the health department would scan the vaccine, administer it to the patient. It would all be recorded, and then they would restock and bill and all that for those services. That was essentially a revenue or a expense for us, not a revenue gain. We were spending about $15,000 to $20,000 a year on that. Sorry, I didn't have this pulled up exactly. So essentially, we were spending, let's call it that $20,000 a year. Our revenues have been slowly decreasing every year since we started with VaxCare. We started putting more vaccines through VaxCare and less through local billing and local control through Melissa and the health department, to the tune where our revenues decreased. I'll go back to 2020 from 220,000 all the way down to about 100,000. So we were losing about 120,000 a year in revenue. This year, as of, it was about 2 weeks ago when we last looked, that revenue that was down 107,000 or capped out at 107,000 last year, we were already up to 173,000 this year. So instead of spending 20,000, we're increasing revenue by 70,000, and we still have 6 weeks of revenue to collect at that point. So it could be up to around 200,000. So the swing through all of that is, instead of spending 20, we're gaining about an additional 100,000 in revenue. Yes, the expenses are there for the vaccines, but that's being offset by the revenue for the administration and the fees that we charge, or the health department charges. I don't know if that's exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah,
but
so we're net positive, going to be about a net positive of 120,000 pretty much at the end.
close,
Close
yeah.
to.
100 to 110,000 maybe.
Okay. But we're,
As you said, we're at 170 now, and if we approve this, we're backing off 50-some thousand. Am I thinking that right?
Correct, yeah, 53,500.
Yeah.
And last year when we did the initial purchase to get us the purchase of vaccinations, it was 60,000, I think was the initial one, and this one's 53. So, so we have 111,000 roughly in expenses for vaccinations, but we'll have over, or roughly about 200,000 in revenue. So that difference of 100 to 110,000 in expenses for vaccinations, if we have 200,000, that would be about a $90,000 increase in revenue. If that,
kudos to the health, our health
Mhm.
department for managing this and turning things around and making a positive impact on it, on the budget, so.
Yeah, it's been a good team, and our biller, Jerry, has done a lot of effort towards that. There were also some vaccine supply issues going through VaxCare, and we haven't had any of those this year. We've had plenty of vaccine, or we can get it quickly if we need it. So it's been a much better year.
When we approved, whatever it was, 50,000 earlier in the year, all those vaccines came in. I guess what's the usage rate of people coming in and we're using the vaccines, or are we getting too many and throwing any vaccines away, or is our usage rate?
Our usage
high?
rate is good.
Okay.
And for some of the more expensive vaccines, we have maybe a couple of days wait time, just because we're ordering them as we need them.
Mhm.
Just trying to gauge supply and demand, but
It looks like we're bringing in a lot of flu vaccines. Is this what this order is mostly? Is the other?
that's our big order, yes.
It's coming. It's here a little bit. There's a lot of coughing and runny noses running through the
Yes.
schools right now. So,
Okay.
Yes, we've been busy.
I move to approve purchase order 7954 for 53,500 for vaccine purchase in 2025.
I'll second that.
okay, we got a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion or questions?
How's the availability for the vaccines? I mean, it's pretty quick if you run out of one, it's pretty quick turnaround?
It is.
Okay, good. Good deal.
And we're, again, for public, if I come into, to get a flu shot from the health clinic, you're charging me something, it's going to insurance, or what's the process?
Yes, if you have private insurance, your insurance will be billed, and especially for flu vaccine, where that's just a routine vaccination, that's typically covered 100%. We also have flu, though, for uninsured that comes from the state. So we can really take care of pretty much anybody with our flu vaccine. And just to make it easier on the public, and to boost those rates and that coverage, people can walk in anytime, and we'll work them in throughout the week.
We're not doing any clinics, I know like the hospital will do like a drive-by flu thing. I think
Right,
Walgreens
although-
sometimes does a day,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
The hospital combined theirs, I believe, with their blood draws once a month.
Yeah, that's true.
So we were trying to just be as flexible as possible, and if you want one and
Anything
stop
else?
in,
Okay,
we'll get you worked in.
very good.
Trying to make it as easy as possible.
Got a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 3-0.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're at the end here, county administrator report. Anything additional?
I will take a few minutes today. A couple reminders. Next week's Ellis County Commissioner meeting is canceled due to the attendance of the commission to the annual Kansas Association of Counties Conference. So there will be no meeting next week. Quick reminder that we do have the Ellis County Holiday Appreciation Dinner this Saturday out at the fairgrounds for our employees. So I look forward to seeing you there. And then one last thing I did want to add is just to bring the commissioners up to speed. I received this after the agenda was put together for this week's packet, but in regards to the next steps with the bond process, I have a draft timetable. I'd like the commissioners to at least review to make sure that the setting of additional meetings would be appropriate, mainly for 3 different PBC, Public Building Commission meetings. The first one would be December the 16th. These are, I don't know if you can see that very well across there. But at our next commission meeting, since next week is canceled, on the 16th, we would start off with a PBC meeting to discuss the plan of financing, and for the Public Building Commission at that point to authorize the project. So that would be December 16th at before the regular commission meeting. And then moving into February 3rd, the PBC would authorize the calling of the sale of the bonds at that point of, like say, at the beginning of the commission meeting on the 3rd. That would be the first meeting in February. And then at the end of March, the 17th, the PBC would have their 3rd meeting to review the bids that were sent out and approve the best bid at that point. So there's no additional dates other than the dates that are already included as Ellis County Commission meetings. We would just start at 8:30 with the PBC meeting on those 3 dates. I will say that on the January 12th day, we will have a PBC meeting because that's the reorganization, that second meeting in December. So we would have one already scheduled there, but that's just to reappoint the president and vice president of the PBC at that point. And then we would still be on track to roughly April having the funds available to start the projects. And at that point, we'd also have, I've got a draft started for the design build project for the law enforcement center. So hopefully in that beginning month of April, we would have the bids back for contractors and architects to work together to put a bid to start the renovation there in April as well. Or to award the bid for them to be able to start shortly after that based on their proposals and schedules.
So on the authorizing a new project on the 16th, I guess how broad is that? Is that just saying we're?
So I don't remember the last meeting that we had, just to hear this last month, we went through each project. We eliminated the transfer station because that's going to be built out of there. We basically put the storage building at Public Works on hold pending on funding. The other ones totaled to roughly 10.5, but we put the max at 10. So those projects I've sent off and those estimates to Ranson Financial and Gilmore and Bell to start those projects. So essentially, you've kind of already done that process, but this is just the formalized process that moves over then to the PBC to start that process on the Public Building Commission side.
Okay.
Anything
else from you?
If those dates are okay, I'll let them know and we'll get those set. That's all I have then. Thank you.
Thank you. Nathan?
Oh, I've received a lot of reports from drivers with our deteriorating road conditions with the rain and weather. So I've been working with Brendan to try and work through those and got clarification on some of the snow removal process and stuff that was taking place yesterday. So have been in contact with Public Works on some of those issues. That's it. Look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday night.
Yeah, roads can deteriorate so fast. You think you're on top of it, and all of a sudden, falls apart. Neil?
Yeah. I also, my phone is going crazy, but it's one of the things when not to blame it on anybody, but our roads were bad because it didn't rain. We didn't have the right moisture, and then we got a $1 million rain because it was just so slow and soaked in. So I figured that, but man, like I say, I've been talking with Brandon also, and then I also did talk with Eugene with the appraiser. Had a nice conversation with him with the appraisals and stuff. So that And then I also did go to City of Hayes meeting. And like I say, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the party also and go from there.
We got an ugly sweater contest going on at the party. Throughout the whole thing, you're supposed to come in an ugly sweater.
Yes, thanks for Danetta and Megan and I think Mickey and Carissa. They put together the contest rules to show up with your ugly sweater, appropriate, obviously, and they put some guidelines on that out there as well. And so hopefully, and they'll have some other games that the Ellis County Treasurer is going to get employees and spouses and everybody up and participate with too.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll bring in my kids and wife and kids, and I gotta figure out which sweater I'm gonna wear. I got a couple options. I don't really have any other update. Congratulations to Victoria football team. They made it to the state championship. Had a good tough battle against Hanover and came up getting second. So, but congratulations on their season getting to the championship game. And yes, 4A soccer's been fun to watch. I watched that. I'm gonna watch the game Saturday, and I really hope they pull that off and get to the national championship game. With that, the regular commission, we go into executive session.
I move the Board of County Commissioners recess to the executive session for 10 minutes under the following exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act pursuant in the attorney-client privilege exception. The subject to be discussed during the executive session is conflict of interest. Those attending would be the Board of County Commissioners, Mr. Bill Jeter and Mr. Darren Myers for 10 minutes. So we'll put it at 10:50.
I'll second that.
Got a motion second on the table to go in the executive session. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, passes 3-0. side. And we'll adjourn the county commission meeting at 10:58.
Gonna wait 2 minutes. Got the gavel.
Okay, exactly 11.